You could not pay me money to share these. I know I start every single video saying how excited I am to film the video, but I think this time the excitement is off the charts because in front of me I have an assortment of freeze-dried candy. I've never tried freeze-dried candy before, so I am so excited to film this video for you. I have a couple different flavors. I just bought a mystery pack. We have Skittles. We have Starbursts, which I assume are Starbursts. We have bubblegum bottles, your classic peach ring, as well as Jolly Ranchers. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the texture is going to be. I'm thinking something hard, but hopefully a little bit airy. I don't know where exactly we should start. I think I'm going to start with the ones that I'm least excited about and then lead up to the one that I'm most excited about. Let's open these up and see what we got. I can already smell the bubble gum. Smells very much like bubblegum, but also has almost like a stale smell to it. Is that fair to say? We've got, these are massive, absolutely huge. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, why are those so good? Why are those so good? I think they're slightly more sour than the usual bubblegum candy. They're slightly more sour than the usual bubblegum candy is, and the texture is light and airy, but still crunchy. But completely melts in your mouth if you suck on it for a second. That's not what I expected at all. I thought it would have a lot more structure. I thought they would be a lot harder to bite through. So I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with the texture of these. And then the flavor, it almost enhances the flavor. It makes it seem a little more sour, a little less artificial. But I'm a fan. Did I just find my new favorite candy? Is this gonna change how I eat candy for the rest of my life? Am I going through some sort of like canon event right now? Oh my god, okay. Let's try the peach rings. Uh-oh. Do you ever have it where you rip the tab but it doesn't actually open the bag? Please don't get mad at me for using my teeth. Now, I am a huge fan of fuzzy peaches, not a huge fan of peach rings, so it should be interesting to see. This is going to be a true test on whether or not freeze-drying candy actually makes it better. Okay, so these ones are definitely not as airy. They're a little bit denser than the bubblegum were. Also, when you chew them, it kind of sticks between your teeth. The flavor, this is gonna sound so weird, but it tastes more like a peach and just a plain peach candy tastes like a peach. Somehow, when you freeze dry a candy, it takes out some of that artificial sugar taste, which I'm not a really big fan of, and makes it just taste more natural, I guess. Maybe because that is not as sweet. I really don't like how this one sticks between my teeth so much. I feel like I'm gonna lose like a filling or something by eating these. Yeah, I definitely liked the bubblegum ones more. Now, I could see myself always cycling back to the bubblegum. I could see myself enjoying a full bag of the bubblegum ones. The bubblegum has surprised me so far. Now, I really hope that these don't let me down because Skittles, Jolly Ranchers, and Starbursts are some of my favorite candies in the world. So if freeze drying them changes the game for me, I don't know. Okay. still have that kind of peachy taste in my mouth. The peach lingers too much for me. Okay, we'll try a purple as well as a red because those two are my favorite Skittle flavors. Let's go for the purple first. It's funny how they look exploded. Stop, please stop. What? So it has the same airy texture that the bubblegum does, but it still has that hard Skittle shell. Wasting these because these are so good. I think this just changed my entire existence. It's never going to be the same. I just love the airy light texture paired with the hard shell, and then the Skittle flavor is just as prominent. It's the Skittle flavor that you love, you know, is all of the nostalgia. Just slightly more sour, which I enjoy. I do love a sour candy. Okay, let's try the other 3 other flavors. We have the yellow. I mean, I'm not a huge yellow Skittle lover to begin with. It is the least favorite flavor of the Skittle, but that was still pretty good. I still prefer that to a normal Skittle. Yeah, the green, I feel like the green is the slightly more attractive sister to the yellow Skittle, and then orange is the slightly more attractive cousin, and then red and purple Skittles, they're your like supermodel. They are top tier. They are totem pole right at the top for me. I'm a fan. I have absolutely no critiques for the Skittles. No critiques. Perfect. Fantastic. Superb. Magnificent. This will be my most treasured bag, my most treasured possession in my life right now is going to be this bag of freeze-dried candy. And am I going to savor it? Yes. Will I eat it all at one time? No. I will probably have 1, 2, 3 at a time max. Maybe I'll eat the yellow ones first so we can really savor those crowned gems of the orange and the purple, or not orange, purple and red, because wow, you could not pay me money to share these. It's just that the amount doesn't exist. That was so... Okay, let's close these up so we don't let any extra air in, and we'll move on to the next 2. I'm gonna go for the Starbursts first. And we're gonna do a little palate cleanse because I don't want the goodness of the Skittle to taint my opinion on how I feel about the Starbursts. All right, working off the opposite theory that we had with the Skittles, we're gonna start with my least favorite flavor of Starburst, which is the yellow again. I'm sorry, yellow. I'm just not a huge artificial lemon fan. These ones are large, so I'm really hoping that they have the airiness that the bubblegum candy does, but they are a little harder on the outside. It's also interesting, just the size difference, because Starbursts are all the same size. So what makes this one so much bigger than that one? I guess we'll never know. Cheers. It almost feels like you're eating foam. It's like if foam tasted good. That's what I imagine. I would say the texture is if the peach candy came over to a party with the bubblegum gummies and had a baby, and then that baby had a baby with the Skittles, you would have the texture of the Starburst. They have a really hard outer shell, but once you break through it, you still get that soft, airy middle, and it doesn't stick to your teeth quite as bad as the peach rings stuck to your teeth. So that was the yellow. We still have the red, the pink, and the orange to try. I'm going to save the little one, and I'm going to go for a bigger one. I'm going to dig it right out from the bottom of the bag and grab the biggest one and see if that changes the texture at all. Stop. Why is that so good? It's almost deceiving for a second because the outer shell is so hard. It almost makes you think that it's not going to be light and fluffy in the middle, but it really is. It really is. And then once you hold it in your mouth for a second and kind of chew through it the first second, by the third time, it's just completely disintegrated. It's just completely disintegrated into your mouth like cotton candy does. That cotton candy goodness of just pure sugar, exactly the same. It does leave a little bit more of a residue than the Skittles or the bubblegum did. Similar to what the peach did, but not quite as bad, where the peach would stick between your teeth and you feel like you're gonna pop out a molar. Okay, let's go with the pink and we'll leave the red for last. I don't know what it is, because the flavor is exactly the same but better. It's like elevated. And I don't know if it's because it's slightly more sour. I don't know if when it's freeze dried there's just more air. So I don't know science. I'm not a scientist. I'm just some girl trying candies on the internet. So I can't sit here and pretend to you that I know why it does the things it does, but you're just gonna have to trust me. All right, last but not least, the red, which I believe is the best flavor. I do love a cherry flavored item. I know it's not for everybody, but it is very much for me. I could see with that one, it does kind of border on the line. My cat is making a lot of noise in the background right now, so hopefully that's not too disturbing. If you're hearing extra licking sounds, they're not coming from me. They're coming from the cat. He was snoozing so comfy on his little beanbag chair, but of course, as soon as I hit record, he decides that it's bath time and he must now clean every inch of his body. What do you do? Where were we? We were talking about the cherry Starburst. The cherry Starburst, I could definitely see how it borders into the line of maybe tasting a little bit like medicine, but I don't mind that. I kind of like it. It may, in freeze-dried form, it may be that cherry comes second now, dare I say, and pink snuck in for that top spot. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but here we are. All right, now, without further ado, the candy that is my all-time favorite candy, the Jolly Rancher. I think that Jolly Rancher has the best flavor. They have the best gummies, and they have the best sour gummies. I don't eat the hard candy very often, just because I'm not a huge hard candy gal. I like to be able to chew it. I don't want to sit with a candy in my mouth, and I don't want to chew on a hard candy that makes me feel like I'm gonna lose a tooth. I do believe that these are made with the hard candies, but if we can get a nice, airy, buttery, cotton candy-like texture like the rest of the freeze-dried candies and the flavor of a Jolly Rancher, it might be over for everyone. Only time will tell. I can already smell that Jolly Rancher goodness. Okay, let's start with the green and we'll work our way up to the blue because we can all agree that the blue is the best Jolly Rancher. I don't think we need to fight about that. All right. Don't fail me now. Stop. It's game over. Stop. It's the most airy, fluffy, melt in your mouth, completely disintegrate texture. The flavor is a little bit more intense than it usually is, but Jolly Ranchers are pretty intense flavored to begin with, but the texture is unreal. It does get a little bit stuck between your teeth, but it's worth it because the texture is unmatched. It's like chewing on air that tastes like sugar. And I think my life has changed. All right, let's try and pull a couple out here because I want to get to this big red one down at the bottom. These ones are sticking to my fingers a little bit more. Let's go for the pink, just a little guy. I don't mind it. Watermelon was a little bit intense for me. It did taste a little too cough syrupy. I think that Jolly Rancher has the best texture. Skittles, Jolly Rancher had the best texture. Starburst had the best taste. Skittles had the best of both worlds. Peach rings, not my favorite. Bubblegum, enjoyable. Don't love the taste of bubblegum though. So that's kind of my I would say the Skittles, S tier. And then Jolly Rancher, just because, I don't know, we're gonna have to try the last three flavors, but I think it might make the flavoring just a little bit too intense because Jolly Rancher flavoring is very prominent to start with. Let's go with the big boy, the red one. I might have spoken too soon. Ooh, that has a little bit of a kick of a sour on the end there. Maybe I'm just not a huge apple and watermelon fan to begin with because the cherry slaps. All right, let's save the blue for last. Let's skip right ahead to the grape, which is my second favorite. It's so stuck in my teeth right now. I don't like that feeling. And the flavor was very intense. I have a feeling like cherry might be the best flavor, even though I haven't tried the blue one yet, just because I know the blue is blue raspberry and it's pretty strong just in the regular form. The grape was too intense. It made it taste way too much like medicine. And like I said earlier, I usually don't mind that, but yeah. And then for whatever reason, the grape just completely got stuck in my teeth, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like more of the soft, airy, buttery. All right, the final test. Please don't fail me. Please don't fail me. A little too artificial tasting with the Jolly Rancher. A little hit or miss on how the texture's gonna play out. The blue was just a little bit too much. It wasn't bad, but it was just a little bit too much. I think definitely the winners are going to be our Skittles and our Starbursts. Starburst texture can't be beat. Skittles flavor, texture is very good. Next up would definitely be the bubblegum. Texture, top tier. Flavor, not bad. Not bad, but not my favorite. Peach rings, flavor, decent. Texture, not my favorite. Gets stuck between your teeth too much. And then Jolly Rancher, texture can be hit or miss. And then flavor's a gamble on whether or not it's going to be too strong. So I definitely know which bags I am going to hoard and which bags I'm going to share with my friends. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little bit more casual video. And yeah, hopefully you can't hear my cat too much, but I won't know until after I've ended the video.